Well, here I am at our warehouse in Boyd. We just opened about 2 weeks ago, and I've thought about making this video or not, but I like being completely honest and transparent to everybody, even those that are just watching the video and that'll never buy anything. But this is really coming down to all the posts that I see on Facebook and posts that people put in written form, electronic form, whatever, on Facebook groups or YouTube videos. We've got over 95 videos. So before I get into that, I want to introduce myself. So my name is Mike Williams. I'm the owner of Rippa USA Sales. I'm probably the newest Rippa dealer, and we're focused solely on Rippa equipment. And what I mean by that is a lot of our competitors out there, or even people that don't sell Rippa, they'll sell 2, 3, 4 to 5 different lines of the exact same thing where they're competing against each other. For example, you've got a 1-ton excavator from Rippa, but you're also selling a 1-ton unit from some other Chinese place. Or, like for example, in the skid steer world, you're selling the Durette V1000, and then you're selling the Rippa RS06, which is the direct competitor. Other than nothing wrong with the Durette machine, but realistically, the Rippa is a much better machine. It's got a same Kubota brand engine, but it's got the much larger displacement. It uses the D1105 versus the Durette's D905, so it won't work as hard. It'll be less noisy, less fuel. It should last longer because, again, it's not working as hard. So anyway, but you're competing. So when you come into a dealer and you ask, well, which one should I buy? What it's going to come down to is which one can they make the most money on? For over 16 years, I was in sales at Cisco and NetApp, storage, both large global companies. And I covered some of the largest customers out there, in the multi-billion-dollar range. So I know how it goes, especially when you look at incentives that manufacturers offer and all that. It's really doesn't really matter what's best for the customer. It's what's best for the salesperson and what's best for the dealer. Just like when you go to a restaurant, some restaurants, they'll offer contests. Who can sell the most of this special or this wine or whatever? And it's really nothing to do with what the customer wants. It's, I want to make the $50 or I want to make the $100. Or in this case, in the heavy equipment world, I want to make an extra $3,000 or, more and more and more. So anyway, we're focused here solely on Rippa equipment. And right now, we've got our load of excavators in. They're sitting out there, so the shop's pretty empty other than, let me turn it this way. So you can see the R10 here with the Kubota. I'll talk about that in a minute. But tomorrow we're headed to Houston to pick up a load of the RS06 skid steers. And I have to say, totally separate project. We've got a solar system at our house. So last month our electric bill was $11, and that included keeping the house at 71 degrees. So we're in West Texas, and driving about 3,500, 3,800 miles between my wife's Tesla Model Y Juniper and then my Cybertruck. However, the Cybertruck, it's great for pulling, say, 12,000 pounds or less. 11,000 pounds is what it's rated for. However, if, like, for example, I'm going to be pulling north of 30,000 pounds tomorrow on the way back to the dealership. So went and picked that baby up yesterday. It's got the largest rear end. I think it's the 372 or 410. I can't remember which one, but the towing specs on it is just under 37,000 pounds or just over 36,000 pounds. So, well, you'll see a lot of those out there. But anyway, the main purpose of this video is for those people that are not sure what they're doing. Do you want to buy from a dealer or do you want to buy directly from China? and maybe save a couple of dollars. So right off the bat, depending upon who you're buying from, like for example, Rippa, you can place an order with Rippa, at least I can, dealers, and our product will be here within 2 months or so. It might take 3 months if they've got to make it. For example, I've got a customer looking at the R82 excavator. That's going to take about 3 weeks to build, and then it'll take about 6 to 8 weeks to ship it on the container ship. And then, you know, it's got to go through customs. And if it's going through the port of LA, they're right now, you can go online and check, but they're running about a 2-week delay. And then it's going to be about 3 to 5 days to get here. And I can put 2 R82s in one container. So what you then got to look at is, let's say you want one of those yourself, and maybe it's going to be less. So for me, I can get a container from China to my door for less than $8,000. Okay, so long as it's 44,000 pounds of weight or less. Okay, so if you're going to do that, well, I don't need a full container, I only need one. So what that means is you're going to have to get a 20-foot container, and understand all the rail cars are set up for 40-foot containers. So that means they're going to need your 20-foot, and then it's going to just sit there waiting until they get another 20-foot headed the same direction. So that's going to cause some delays. Additionally, 2 20-foot containers are going to cost more than one 40-foot. And I don't mean by like $100. Really, it's the other way around. I can get a 20-foot container delivered to our warehouse. I can get a 40-foot container delivered to our warehouse for about $8,000, or I can get a 20-foot container for about $6,500, $6,700. So when you think about it, that's the major price difference there. Now you as an individual, you're probably not going to do a container. You would just get a really big, huge box, right? And that's going to cost probably more than a container. Then the other thing you've got to worry about is, of course, everybody wants their stuff today. Well, when you're dealing with companies overseas, they're not keen on after the sale communication. So especially with some companies, which is one reason why we're not dealing with anybody else and we're dealing with Direct. We're dealing with Rippa, is Freudian slip, is I'm in constant contact. There's probably not a day other than here in the US, my Friday night and Saturday night, because in Jining, which is where Rippa is at, Jining, China, they're about 13 hours ahead of us here. I'm just west of Fort Worth, Texas. So what you've got to look at is, their Sunday night, our Sunday night is their Monday morning. And so our Thursday night is their Friday morning. So when we get up Friday, their business side is already closed. Okay. So you're going to have to deal with that. You're going to have to deal with, I don't really understand what's going on, because you might not get an update for 2 months, especially if you're dealing with manufacturers that are going to take you 4 to 6 months to get your equipment. So if you can deal with all that, great, go for it. If you're good with clicking a button and sending 8, 9, 10, 20, 50 grand overseas, and you're not really knowing anything, great. Just be careful, because there's a lot of scams going on out there. Then what it comes down to is, let's say you get the machine, you get it back to your place, or it's delivered and you get it unloaded, and now there's a problem. What are you going to do? Well, again, if you're in the central time zone in the US, they're 13 hours ahead of you. So more than likely, you're going to send somebody an email and you're going to see nothing for at least 1 business day. So the next day you get up, you might see something there, and then maybe they'll respond, and then you're asleep. So by the time you get up, then they're already done. So it's going to take you anywhere from 3 to 5 days, business days in China, for you to maybe work that out if it's something simple. So what I want to do is go through and talk about my shipment. So my first order, I got a number of excavators, and that's all that was in stock. And like I said, tomorrow we're headed, so tomorrow is what, August 1st? Yep. So today is July 31st. So I've got a number of skid steers coming, but what I want to do is I want to go through a number of issues. So, for example, we had an R10 come in. There weren't any stickers on it. There weren't a plate on it that had the serial number and all that. Additionally, the boom light was not there. And then the right side of the unit, the drive motor, on the back of the track, which here, let me just walk over there and I can talk about this. Bear with me. So, right there, but actually no, that's the right one. So right there, both hydraulic lines were loose and were leaking hydraulic fluid to where by the time we got off the trailer, from when it was delivered to us, we had to add pretty much the entire hydraulic tank full again. Something that we're fighting now, if you see right there, is a oil leak. Additionally, like I said, I thought somebody was here. There's no stickers on the boom. The light that should be right there, that's not there. So little things like that, are you going to be fine dealing with it and understand? Like when I contacted Rippa, they're going to put all this stuff in a box, by the way. So, and I'll talk about more of what's going to happen and all that, but you're the man, right? Nobody's going to pop up out of the box and put this stuff together. No one's going to take that steel plate off the side to where you can tighten those hydraulic lines. You're the man. On the R18, pretty simple. There was just no stickers on the boom, so easy fix. The R22, the antenna mount for the radio antenna, the top mount was broken. Easy fix, right? I mean, it's a screw, pull it off, stick the new one on, put silicone around it. The R32 stickers on one side were not there. The inside door handle, there's like a plastic cover that goes all the way across, similar to an automobile. That was broken. And then the stickers on the very back of the machine, on the tail, they were missing. And then there was cosmetic damage to the paint. There's like a 4-inch scratch there. So this is the type of stuff that you're going to have to deal with. And you can jump up and down and scream and yell. And at the end of the day, they're 8,000 miles away. So I'm not saying they don't care, but they can't hear you. And just like, when you're at the airport and, somebody cancels your flight, you can become internet famous by, basically making yourself out to be not such a nice person or remain calm. And eventually you'll get what you need. Just understand again, they're 13 hours ahead and it's going to cost 3 weeks minimum for you to get your part. So if you're fine dealing with all that to maybe save $500, maybe $1,000, great. But understand the one thing that we didn't talk about is the shipping costs, sure, which we did talk about, but now you're gonna have to pay somebody, a freight forwarder, customs broker, and usually that's between $200 and $500. So you're gonna need to add that to your order. Then the biggest single part is you're gonna have to pay that nice tariff. So I think right now we're at 55%. I don't know. I mean, it's like it's changing every week. It might be 45%, but it's one of those two. So that $10,000 price that you think, man, I'm going to save so much money because the United States guys are charging, $21,000 or whatever. Understand, they've had their money tied up for maybe 2 to 3 months. They've had to pay a 45 or I think it's a 55% tariff. So if it's 10 grand times 55%. So now their cost is, 15.5 plus, X amount of dollars for shipping, a couple $100 for the broker. And then once it's at the port, they've now got to get it brought in. So if they didn't do an all-in-one package, then there's going to be some funds for that. Like for example, Houston for us, it's less than a 5-hour drive. We do have some equipment that we're going to get, I think in 2 weeks. You'd have to look at our website and click on the orders section, and then you'll see our third order that we placed. That's going to the Port of Norfolk, and then we're picking it up at the Rippa warehouse there in Virginia in a couple of weeks. And that's where my favorite machine is coming in, the Rippa RS20. That's the 68 horsepower full-size skid steer. So you can check that out on our website. Go up there, click on skid steers, drop down RS20. I love that thing. It's a one-armed skid steer. So you'll never have to worry about, you know, being 5'6" and having to climb through the back window if the hydraulics, for whatever reason, quit on you and you need to get out of the cab in a hurry. The door's on the side, and you can just proceed out there no matter what's going on with the bucket. Okay, so anyway, so these are some of the things you want to think about if you're dealing with it. Now, the one thing that I will absolutely say is I've got a dedicated salesperson. Now, I'm probably spending more money than, well, definitely spending more money than someone that's going to maybe be buying 1 or 2 machines. So if that's the case, then maybe you won't have a dedicated person. It'll just be whoever is responding to email, and they're dealing with, you know, 100 of you guys, right? I would strongly encourage you to not do that, because the vast majority of people cannot deal with, I don't know where my stuff is. I don't know if they took my money. I don't know how they shipped my product. I don't know where it is between China and here. Where is it from the port to me? Just literally, if that's what you want to do, place an order and then don't even think about it for 4 to 5 months minimum. And then eventually you'll get an email, and then you'll get a phone call saying, hey, this is Bob with our RL Carrier, or whoever it is. We either deliver ourselves, or we do RL Carrier, or we do hot shots, depending upon what it is. I mean, if it's under 4,000 pounds and, you know, 1 or 2 skids, we'll do RL Carrier. But if it's, you know, a full load of equipment, where, like, for example, we've got 2 RS06s going to a guy in Virginia, and then we've got another guy actually in Virginia that wants the RS03. So we're going to have all that stuff with us when we're going to pick up in Virginia. We're going to take that with us because they don't have stock in Virginia, I don't think. But, you know, who knows? But we're going to take that with us, and we're going to meet those guys somewhere, and we'll do deliveries along the way. So we'll do that, right? Because it's more cost effective. So anyway, just something I want you to think about. Now, the last thing is dealing with Rippa. They're in a totally different mind space than we are. When you get a machine, you're expecting it to be just like that brand new car you got from Tesla or Ford or Ram or, you know, wherever. And if you have an issue, because it's brand new, hey, all you've got to do is take it back to the dealer and they'll fix it, no questions asked, right? That's not this. If there's a problem, if on that R10 sitting over there, there's issues, there's stickers, whatever that is, they'll send you the parts, no charge. Sure, understand, again, it's a 3-week wait, but you're going to have to prep the machine. You're going to have to put that on. You're going to have to do all the work. And if you're not mechanically inclined, you're going to need to go buy some tools. You're going to need to learn how to do all this, because while they might send you the tools, one of the reasons why there's maybe no labor warranty is because, well, everybody charges insanely, and then there's gouging, and then, you know, you might try and, you know, pull a fast one. Not saying anyone would, but I know human beings, and some will, right? So what happens is there's no reimbursement for labor, but then that's why you're buying, for example, the RS20, 68 horsepower Yanmar powered engine, you know, skid steer, shameless plug. The end of August, so in about a month, they're changing that Yanmar to a Kubota 68 horsepower engine or so engine. And then, let's see, August, September, so somewhere around October. So somewhere around November, we're going to start seeing those show up here with the Kubota, and I'm very excited. But anyway, so you get that machine, and your cost is like, let's say $40,000. Well, the reason why you're buying it isn't because you really like the blue color, although I will say, I think these machines, they're the prettiest ones of all the machines out there. But the reason why you're doing it is because it's 40 grand. I've got a chart on our website on the RS20 page, if you scroll down, where I'm comparing it to John Deere, Cat, Kubota equivalent 68 horsepower-ish Bobcat machines. And you'll see everybody else's machine for the similar capability is $30,000 to $40,000 more. Well, okay, so you're going to have to take some of that savings maybe and go over there and get whatever it is done if you don't want to do it. So my experience is with Rippa, they've been great. Initially, just being completely transparent, when I first got the equipment and I saw these issues, I reached out to my contact, and she was on PTO, vacation, paid time off, and I didn't get a response. I didn't get a bounce back either. Like in the US, we put something on our email saying, hey, we're out of office. I'll be back on this date. If it's an emergency, contact this person. I didn't get any of that. All I heard was crickets. And then we went into the weekend, and I'm just like, oh my Lord, what did I just do? I just spent all this money, and these guys are now ghosting me, and I'm screwed. Well, guess what? She came back into the office. Life is good. Everybody apologized. They'll make amends. Everything is fine. So no matter which way you go, whether you want to go through a dealer or you want to go direct, just understand what you're getting into. And when it comes to direct, understand in my opinion, there's two types of dealers. There's dealers, and neither. I'm not saying one's better than another. It's all about you as a customer. Which one do you think is better for your shopping experience? If all you care about is low price, which that is me, when it comes to, like, I just bought that Ram truck yesterday. Well, so today's Thursday. So this week, all day, for day before yesterday, and then off and on the other days, I was dealing with about 13 or 14 Ram dealerships, because all I care about is I need that truck in the tradesman line, because I don't need fancy and expensive. I need to be able to tow 36,000 pounds or more. And who's got the best price? So the first thing I do is I go up to Dave Smith, shameless plug, and I see what they can do. Now, again, I'm in Fort Worth. Dave Smith, they're up in Idaho. So, that's going to cost me about $500 for a plane ticket, what have you. And then about $1,000-ish, maybe not, if I was pulling a trailer. But anyway, it's going to cost me about $1,000 by the time I'm all done to go up there, get the truck, and bring it back, diesel fuel cost and all that. So once I do that, now it's like, okay, now I have my baseline. That's the best price I'll ever be able to get. So now I reach out to local dealerships and I'm saying, this is what I'm looking for. What can you do for me? And I don't go visit dealerships. I don't have time to waste doing all that. And who can meet that price or get close to it? Because if I can save $3,000 going up there, but I can get it local, then I'll stay local, because that's about what my time is worth when I back out the $1,000 or whatever to go up to Dave Smith. But if it's $5,000 to $8,000, guess what? I'm headed to DFW Airport, and I'm going to Idaho, because hey, $8,000, that's a lot of money, and that's what I did on one of my diesel trucks. Okay, so anyway, so when you're dealing with a dealer, you've got the low-cost dealer where they're going to maybe unpack your product and put it on a truck and send it to you, and you're going to probably get the cheapest price. That's not my dealership, though. We're all about quality, because when you buy something and you spend this kind of money, like, for example, the guys that are buying the R82 excavator, they're going to be paying, $65,000 for that. So that's a $150,000 machine or higher if you go buy a Cat, Case, whatever machine. So I want you to get your money's worth and feel like you got a quality product. So what we do is we pull it in, and you can see in our service center here, we're going to take that machine apart, you know, the back of it, the sides. We're going to going to check bolts, nuts. We're going to check obviously all the fluid levels. We're going to pull the engine oil out because, you know, all this stuff, the hydraulic fluid, it's all soy based, and we're going to use, you know, American based, petroleum based products. Shameless plug, hydraulic fluid. You can buy 5-gallon buckets of it at Tractor Supply for $42 to $46 for a 5-gallon bucket when it's on sale. We load it up. So it's sitting over here, but I've got like a pallet of, well, not it, but I've got about 8 of them, so it's covering the bottom of a pallet. You know, there's other things you can do like that. But anyway, so that's what we do. And we charge for that because that takes a couple hours, you know, like on an R10. Now this one over here is different because there's a number of issues, but typically on an R10, it takes us about an hour-ish to go over it. But on the R32, it took a lot more time, right? So we factor that in. Now, if that's not worth a couple $100 to you, well, then go over there. And I mean that sincerely, not being smart. But it's literally, it all comes down to what you're doing. And then you bought your machine and you're out of there. Now, which dealer do you think is going to be more likely to handle your issue or help you? If you're going with the low-cost model where all they're doing is just buying it and then giving it to you and they're not touching the machine, you know, and God help you if you don't know how to back it onto your trailer yourself, because they might not know how either. Maybe they do, I don't know, right? But you've got to look at that. So it's not just about the upfront cost. You know, one thing that I learned working in sales at Cisco and NetApp is companies, sure, they care about the acquisition cost, but it's more about what is the total cost of that. You know, they call it TCO, total cost of ownership. So sure, you've got your $20,000, $10,000, whatever investment in that machine, but now how much is it going to cost you, not only in parts, but also in maintenance? And then I call it the pain in the ass factor. So, you know, a hydraulic pump change. You call us, we've got a hydraulic pump sitting over there. If we don't, we'll work on your behalf. You won't have to do anything other than you call us. And then we'll get you a hydraulic pump at no charge. Granted, if we don't have one, it's going to be 3 weeks, but we'll be your advocate and we'll reach out to Rippa in China and get that going for you. So long video, I'm right at 28 minutes. I appreciate everybody's time. The channel is growing crazy. I'm going to do some other videos and talk more about me, and just so you understand where we're coming from. Not because, well, I like talking about myself. Really, I don't. I call myself a closet introvert. But in today's world, that doesn't really work. You've got to be out there, and doing these videos is hopefully something that is not only helpful for you, but hopefully will increase our sales here in Boyd, Texas. So feel free to check out our website, rippausa.sales.com. Please, wherever my finger is, click the button wherever, and please like and subscribe so you get notified on when we do another video. I think we're right around 100 videos now, and this week we broke over 100 hours of people watching our videos. So channel's, I think, 7 weeks old, so that's awesome. If we get enough to where we can monetize the channel, what I plan on doing with the funds is buying attachments and then start giving attachments away. And Lord have mercy, if we can actually get so big to where I can start, you know, here's $8,000, I'll start giving equipment away, you know, we'll do random drawings and all that. So anyway, again, if you have any questions or concerns, always feel free to call us. My name is Mike, RippaUSASales.com. Thanks so much. Bye.